Railway stations, water coolers have been contaminated with E. coli. That is what the recent report suggests. Let's understand what E. coli is. Welcome back to the latest update series of Drishti IAS. This is Divya Kamatra, and today we are going to discuss what is E. coli, why do we call it contamination if it is present in the water, and what effect it can create. Is it really harmful for humans, or is it like, okay, neutral factor, and what can we do if we come in contact with such a contaminated water? All right, let's understand all those concepts. Stay tuned till the end. So what has happened is CAG has recently flagged violations of water quality norms after E. coli bacteria, E. coli or E. coli, whatever you want to call it. You can call it E. coli as well. The E. coli bacteria that was found in water supplies collected from water coolers at multiple railway stations. And the findings have raised obviously a concern regarding water quality and passenger safety, because you must see that everybody, many people are just refilling their water bottles from the water coolers present in the on the platform or anywhere in the premises of the railway station, right? So across many railway stations, not just one or two, across many railway stations, this has been observed that the water stored in those water coolers have been found contaminated with E. coli bacteria. What is this E. coli? How is it harmful? And how does it get contaminated? Let's find out. So the trigger here, the audit finds, the audit report titled Passenger Amenities and Sanitation at Non-Suburban Railway Stations and Indian Railways. This was the title of it. First of all, E. coli was detected. Water samples collected from water coolers at 8 out of 49 tested railway stations had positive E. coli report. Right? They were E. coli positive. And the coliform contamination, total coliform bacteria was detected in drinking water samples taken from tap across 49 stations and 56 stations in 2023-24. Across all of them, there is contamination, and out of them, 8 especially have E. coli bacteria, large-scale contamination of E. coli bacteria. All right. The recommendation here is CAG has directed railways to enforce strict testing protocols under Uniform Drinking Water Quality Protocol and regulate the supply chain and make sure this is taken care of. Okay. But E. coli bacteria, let's understand that. The size is across 3 microns. This is the E. coli bacteria. If you look at it, it has flagella. This is the basic DNA that it has. Cytosol, ribosomes also are there. Pili are also there. Outer membrane, cell wall. Then you have periplasmic space, plasma membrane. This is the entire structure of the bacteria. Okay, this is E. coli bacteria. What is it? It is a species of bacteria naturally found in the intestines of human. Intestines of human, that means it is going to come out with this excreta, right? It is going to come out with our secreta and definitely get into the pipelines. Yes, we'll talk about how it gets there. And the fecal indicator is that it belongs to the fecal coliform group. Its presence in water indicates supply has been contaminated with sewage or fecal waste. Example, like if there are parallel pipelines running, one is for the water supply, one is for the fecal sewage, right? If this breaks down, they come in contact, right? And with that contact, the water gets contaminated. That means somewhere the supply chains have not been renovated. Somewhere their protection has not been taken into account. Somewhere the leakages have not been fixed. That the water is getting mixed up with the fecal waste. That's right. The presence of E. coli is indicating the water has fecal waste in it. Just imagine we are drinking that and it has fecal waste in it. Terrible, right? No comments on that. So low transmission threshold is, unlike many pathogens, E. coli requires only tiny ingested amount, very tiny ingested amount that will cause great scale infection in your body, right? And 8 out of the 49 parameters, everywhere we are seeing that there is E. coli bacteria present in the water stations, right? Yeah. So the health risk here, gastrointestinal issues, diarrhea, stomach cramps, severe vomiting, bloody diarrhea that is caused by toxin producing strains damaging the intestinal lining also. Extra-intestinal infections like urinary tract infection, especially in the women, pelvic inflammatory disease and wound infections. Then sepsis, if bacteria enters the bloodstream, they can trigger systemic inflammation, which requires immediate intravenous antibiotics. If you don't do that, the person can die very quickly, right? These are the health risks that are happening because of this, and still we are not taking this seriously. The CAG actually had to intervene to tell the railways to make sure this is not something that continues. What was railways doing? Why not take step before this, right? Why weren't they able to detect it before CAG came into the picture? What was railways doing? Why were they not focusing on this? That raises serious questions on their functioning. And at the same time, if we talk about a few related concepts like AMR and fecal coliforms, what is AMR? We need to understand. Fecal coliform we've already discussed, but what is AMR? Antimicrobial resistance. AMR is when bacteria, virus, fungi, parasite, they mutate, so the treatment like antibiotics, they have no effectiveness, right? They mutate, and because of that mutation, the structures change, and that changed structure cannot be affected by the basic antibiotics that we take generally for such conditions, right? And if we talk about the connection to E. coli, certain E. coli strains, they have developed drug resistance already due to antibiotic overuse. If a patient develops severe E. coli infection or sepsis, standard or oral antibiotic will fail, necessitating sensitivity testing to find effective injectable drugs needs to be done. Only then we'll be able to find a solution for them and give them some sort of medicine or drug, that also through the bloodstream rather than orally, because that is not going to have any effect. You have already developed the resistance for that, and E. coli has also developed the resistance for that, right? Because of that, this is not really functional. Antibiotic versus antimicrobial resistance, if we talk about, antibiotic resistance is specific to bacteria resisting antibiotic treatments, but antimicrobial resistance is broader. It covers all microbes like bacteria, fungi, all of them are covered in antimicrobial resistance, right? Antibiotic resistance, if you have, it is still fine, we can manage that. But if antimicrobial resistance develops, that makes it very difficult to treat the person, because no kind of medicine works, no matter how high the power you use, right? Some or the other kind of combination of drugs is to be created for that particular person, and that is also very risky. Clear? So what are Indian regulatory standards regarding this? BIS, zero tolerance rule. Under BIS, drinking water specifications are there. E. coli and total coliform bacteria must be completely non-detectable in any 100 ml water sample. No permissible limit. It is not like a part of it is permissible or 1%, 2%. No. There is no permissible limit. It should not be there at all. It should be completely absent from this. A single detection mark is legally non-potable. Simple. Not even a single mark in 100 ml of sample can be there, right? That is the strictness that we have, and yet all this is happening. Clear? Chlorination rule is also there to keep water biologically safe across distribution pipes. Standard mandates a minimum residual of free chlorine level of 0.2 mg per liter. That is the quantity we can use at the consumer tap to use this chlorine, so that can create a better safe structure of water, a better safe supply of water, but that too in a very limited amount, and that amount should be kept in mind while adding it. Specifically 0.2 mg per liter. That's all. That's all you can use for chlorination, so that we can make the water and pipelines especially biologically safe. Clear? Yeah. So what are the public health and policy dimensions here? What have we been doing to make sure India gets safe water? What have we done so far, and why isn't it working in the railways? So we have One Health concept, integrates human, animal, environmental health, untreated human, animal, fecal waste polluting public infrastructure that directly drives AMR and water disease outbreaks. They are strictly prohibited. National Action Plan on AMR, India Strategic Framework targeting rational antibiotic use, improved sanitation, infection prevention, slow drug structures. All that is already being done, because we know that antimicrobial resistance is real in India. It has developed on a very large scale, and we need to control that. And next is cross-contamination mechanism. Major transit hubs mix passengers density with aging underground piping, leaking municipal sewer lines, running parallel to water pipes. And at the water pipes, why are they running parallelly first of all? Okay, fine, you dug it up and now you want to run it parallelly, that's fine. But then again, you should at least have multiple coatings or some kind of division, that in case a pipe breaks, there is no contamination or there is no mixing, right? that protection layer is also not used. So this is a constructional hazard. And above that, people are also taking over-the-counter antibiotics like anything. They get a cold, they catch a cold, and they're like, okay, let's take an antibiotic. Why? That should not be done, right? So over-the-counter sales of antibiotics have also been restricted to a large scale. But then again, still people find it, and local medical and everybody, they're friends. They've been customer for so long that they just give them over-the-counter medicines. It is not that hard to find. And people have developed a habit of popping a pill like they're eating a candy. Anything happens, they take out a pill and they pop it out, and they're like, okay, we have taken an antibiotic because we are feeling. No. That is creating antimicrobial resistance, because in your gut, the medicine and the bacteria are co-living. And in that co-living, the bacteria is actually developing resistance. The bacteria is developing tolerance. And once that tolerance creates, the medicine will not be able to impact. It will bounce back, no matter how hard you hit the medicine with, right? No matter how hard, how high the power of the medicine you use, it will not be able to penetrate the layers, the protective layers of bacteria. It will not be able to affect them, right? These days, as you must have seen, there are many pictures where you see mosquitoes sitting on that all-out machine. Right? You have a machine to kill the mosquitoes, right? You plug it in, it lights up, and then you see mosquitoes sitting right on its head, because they've developed resistance. They don't care. The smell doesn't bother them anymore. The release of the chemical that is going on through the machine, that doesn't bother them anymore. They have developed that resistance. That's how our gut microbes, they also develop resistance. If it is present in our gut and you take an antibiotic every other day, they will develop a resistance. Same thing happens with them as well. That has become a higher problem. E. coli is a problem, of course it is a problem, but then the resistance is creating much higher problem, right? So we need to work on both of them rather than just working on removing the presence of E. coli. Clear? Exactly. So a question based on the same that we've just discussed. I hope the topic is clear. Read the question regarding E. coli and give us your answer in the comment section. Done? All right, very nice. On that note, we have an information for you that we have just launched UPSC Word Mapping Continent Series. You can watch this continent series, Word Mapping Continent Series every day, every Wednesday and Saturday, not every day. Every Wednesday and Saturday at 7 p.m. on the Drishti IAS English channel. All right. This will definitely simplify your word geography and help you understand the entire globe through this mapping series. Do join that on the Drishti IAS English channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do that so that you get all the notifications regarding such beautiful classes that are being created for you all the time. Okay. Don't miss out on anything. And this is the series. Do join it. Remember the dates and the time, every Wednesday and Saturday, 7 p.m. Clear? All right. If you want to join us for more such current affairs discussion every day, you can join us at 8:30 a.m. live session. There we discuss the Hindu newspaper, PIB news analysis, as well as question practice from the previous session. That is how we complete the session, and that also runs on Drishti IAS English channel. The channel seems so important now, right? So if you're not a member of the family, do join in. And you'll be able to access all these classes and get notifications whenever we are live so that you don't miss out on any other thing. Yes? All right, that is the session for today. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.